I think the
invitation.
only other one from the chat that we didn't touch on was around that sort of sensory overwhelm,
Oh, okay.
which I certainly identified. With two little kids, they're uh, so so it's really looking at, I suppose, some ideas of grounding and sensory resets and how we can sort of feel more centered and put strategies in place that allow us to still be able to meet their needs, but to be comfortable in our space. So, one that I use around the home a lot is music, because it sort of is an extra layer that I enjoy to the noise, so that the loud banging of two little boys going nuts is not sort of as intense. But with that, obviously, it's very similar to dopamine in that it's going to be very unique to every individual, but certainly exploring ways that we can combat some of that sensory overload is really important. But I think it links into everything we just talked about, in that if you've got your routine and you're feeling more settled and you've been doing it for a while, so it's starting to feel more natural, you're accepting that it might be flexible and it might change at times. There's lots of dopamine in your day. I find the sensory stuff is easier to manage because I'm in a better place, if that makes sense.
It absolutely does. And what I'm hearing a lot of what you're saying is make sure your own cup is full, so to speak, right? And as parents, that's something that tends to be the first thing we let go of. Um,
Yeah.
so I appreciate the reinforcement of how important that is throughout what you're saying.
And sometimes think small. I think, they talk about self care, and that is essentially very, linked to dopamine in some ways. And, we always think, oh, I've got to go to a spa weekend, or I've got to, do this huge thing. But sometimes it's just having a shower with some really nice smelling body wash that you go, oh,
Mhm.
like just those little moments in the day. They all add teaspoons into our cup. They might not be big bucketfuls, but they're enough teaspoons will still help.
That's a beautiful analogy.